Level Up Latina partners with working women and mamas alike to guide them in achieving fulfilling career and life goals through financial empowerment, professional or leadership coaching, and personal wellness. Find the unique coaching you need to succeed.
You're listening to Vero, Ceci, and Irene, and we are Level Up Latina.
Welcome back to another episode of the Level Up Latina podcast. This is episode 336. And today we're going to shift gears and talk about relationships. We have another listener requested topic, and we'll also go where it takes us since this topic is a specific story. But I'm thinking we'll call this one something like the gray area of loyalty, or maybe we're just going to say, is it cheating? Is it not? Maybe we don't even use the word cheating. I don't know. We are not the almighty judgment givers here at Level Up Latina. So this is going to be an interesting one because we're going to hear about a scenario in a relationship. It involves an ex-partner, and you be the judge, and I'll let my co-host be the judge of this scenario. And then we'll think of other scenarios that are the gray area of relationships and loyalty. But before we do that, how are we doing? I feel like everybody is snacking on something. So if you hear us smacking or sipping, I got coffee, but everybody's got a snack of choice. Mention your snack and how you're doing.
Hi, I'm doing great. I'm having a homemade granola that I was telling Vero the recipe offline. That I basically just copied it from behind a bag of goji berries, but it's delicious and nutritious.
Get it, girl. Hi, I'm Vero, and I'm chewing on some dried mango, and it's delicious because I wanted candy, and I'm gonna have mango if I want to have candy. I'm great, thank you.
Delicious. Vero's like, hi, I'm Vero, and there's mango between my teeth. Hi, I'm Irene, and I'm just sipping on my cafecito, and it's delicious. It's like really hot. Came out hot. Thank you, Craig. Sometimes you were a little lazy, but not today. You did your job. So here we go. Here's my first scenario. Is it cheating? Is it not? Is it a gray area of loyalty? And we will try not to slip up and say this person's name. The good news is I edit the podcast, so if I do, ladies, I will edit it out. But to our beautiful listener, she was once recently, very recently, and she's been married for a couple years now, but been with her partner for several years. They have a couple of kids, all that good stuff. This partner said that they were on vacay, and that their ex kind of slid into their DMs and asked them about, hey, what are you doing in this destination? Who are you with? What's up? They just had small talk, right? So there was small talk. So this person is then out with their friends later in the day. It's like in her stories. So the ex went ahead and DM'd her a little bit of money and said, hey, have a good time. Have a drink on me. And she was like, oh, heck no. This is gray area. She did not respond. She kept the money. But she did not engage. And this is why she did not engage. First of all, the ex is in a relationship, has a fiance. She's like, what if that person sees the phone, sees me talking, thinks I brought this on? She's also married. So she's like, what if my partner sees this money, the proof, the Apple Pay, whatever it was, in the comment that says, have a good time. Anyway, that occurred. That happened. And they told me the story, told me to bring it here. They were totally okay with it because they want to know what Ceci, Vero, and I would have done, what we think of the details. So again, chit-chatting with an ex. They're on vacay. The ex sends them money, says have a good time, and she kept the money, but did not respond to the person just because. So what do y'all think?
I don't think it's cheating, but if it were me, I would feel so uncomfortable for sure. And I would tell my husband, like, oh my God, this happened. And I would have returned the money. I don't know. I would have returned the money because it's like, I don't know, just the situation you were telling me, I'm like, oh, for me, again, I don't know what kind, if she kept a friendship with the ex, I don't know all that. But I'm not friends with any of my exes. So if that would have come, and we're not friends on social media or anything like that. But if that would have came in, I would have feel so uncomfortable, had a conversation with my hubby and said, hey, this happened, pero regresa el dinero. And said, hey, this is, and probably told the ex, like, hey, this is not, you and I are not friends and we're not in each other's lives. So why start this dialogue now? Yeah.
So you would, to recap, tell your partner and send the money back, you said?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's such a noble thing. Vero, what do you think?
Oh, I would definitely tell my partner and we spend the money together. I'm like, hey,
I like that.
Hey, I would happen to be catching up, not like it happens often, but, this person happened to message me. They noticed we were out, on vacation. And I would have said, and like shared that with my husband. I'm like, can you believe it? They sent us some money to have a good time for both of us. Let's go buy ourselves a little drink. Let's put this towards whatever. I would spend it. Ya me lo mandaste. Ya me lo mandaste. And I would say, hey, thank you so much. My husband and I are going to really enjoy that drink on you. Simple as that.
Love that, Vero. I had not considered that third scenario because I thought it was either what Ceci said or what this person did, which is didn't tell their husband and didn't return it. So opposite of Ceci. I love that sort of alternative. You lightheartedly respond, include your husband in the response, and you spend that money with your husband. I love that. How actually critical thinking of you, if that even is a sentence that makes any sense, because I went with my girlfriend here and I was like, cool, naughty secret, keep the money, don't tell your man. And I'm sorry, I don't know what that says about my relationship, that I thought like, I don't need to tell my man and I don't need to send the money back. I love how she was like, and then I stopped all communication because she didn't want to be like fully complicit in the sin, right? She didn't want to have a thank you. She didn't want anything to be misconstrued. She didn't want somebody's fiance to read it. And I thought handled perfectly well by friend. And we just like laughed about that because I thought, hey, his loss. Why send you money unprompted? She did not ask. This person is probably just being a little like, test the waters, or just very generous, or they don't think anything of it, or maybe they're all good with it. And she's like keeping the money, but not engaging. So I agreed with her, but I kind of like this third option that Vero is talking about. And I love Ceci's very upstanding, amazing, responsible response. So for our listeners, whether it's cheating or not, you've got 3 different ways to manage that. But let us know what you would do. So comment either on this podcast, send us a DM. Likely you're going to see this like on Instagram, maybe Facebook for the listeners there. You can also put it in the comments. This is going to be an interesting question. Is it cheating or is it not? So on that same vein, I think Ceci started with, she doesn't consider it cheating. What do you think, Vero? Is that cheating?
No, I don't think it's cheating. I know Ceci mentioned, she went a little more delved into it, like mentioned more details. Like I have kept in touch with exes, but they're not my friends. I'm not talking to them consistently. We're not having weekly conversations or checking in, but there'll be the occasional thing where like, hey, like perfect example. During my when I was looking for work, I reached out to my ex Walter because he works for a recruiting company, and I was like, hey, anything out there? I'm trying to get back in the job market and all this stuff, right? So he responded, hey, hope you're well. How exciting! You've been out for how long? And kind of caught up that way, right? And how are things? Everything's good. How are your parents? Great. So we still had that level of like respect for each other. Like I'm not looking to go hook up with my ex. I'm just more like, hey, I know you're an expert in this area. Is there anything you can throw my way or help me out with? So he like later on, like throughout the time was like, hey, I found this out. They might use someone with your skill set, blah, 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 blah. Might be a good opportunity. But I don't think it's cheating. I think it really, what is the intention out there? And I think that there's definitely going to be people that push the boundaries, right? They're going to push the boundaries, or sometimes we feel like it has happened in the past where I've maybe got myself in a position like this. I was then uncomfortable and I followed through with it because of X, Y, Z, and I felt like I cheated. But I think you have to remind yourself where you're at now, right? It doesn't necessarily mean this, and it's not something that, it also depends on the communication what you have with your husband or your partner, right? But I think for me and Otto, like we've talked about it, like I've told him, I'm not against you having girlfriends, but what are you discussing with these girlfriends? What are the things? Are they emotional support? Now, when it comes to emotional attachment in there, that's cheating. I feel that you're already looking to someone else for emotional support and guidance or whatever it is. I think that's what I'm here for. Like you and I are in this together. But I get it. There's times that there's certain things you maybe need to process before you communicate to me that maybe having a female's perspective might help. But I think that in this scenario, it's not cheating. You catch up. For me, it's like very much like, hey, I'm glad you're well. How are things? Cool. I don't avoid the ex in a sense, right? Because it's more of like, hey, life is life. Like you were a part of my life in the past. You're not that anymore. So that's why I'd be like, thank you so much for your money for me to have a good time with my current partner. Thanks so much.
Love that. Love that.
We should ask our husbands a ver qué opinan.
Yes, I was literally going to go there because I too don't consider it cheating. But then I thought, wow, I wonder what my partner would think. Would they consider it cheating? And then Vero brought up all the wonderful implications like, well, what kind of relationship is it now? How much time has passed? Do you guys talk? Do you not talk? Is it out of the blue? Is there flirtation? There's so many layers. But do me a favor and ask your partners what they think about it. And I feel my partner would be like, money back immediately. Like, who is this fool? Like, blah, 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 blah. And that's probably why I wouldn't tell my partner because I don't want to give the money back. Girl, I'm a financial person through and through. And a donation is a donation.
You're like,
and
I need that laundromat.
Ever turn away a donation. I need that laundromat, and I'm a fundraiser, and I'm a storyteller. I want that story. So I would not tell him because I feel like he would be like, immediately send that money back with interest. Because who's that presumido buying your drinks? I buy your drinks. He's a very territorial, loving, passionate person. Territorial is such a funny word, como si fuera perro. But
I believe my husband would say the same, but
right?
we'll report
Give it
back. We'll
Yeah,
report back.
right. So report back. What would your booze do? So we've all kind of said we don't think it's cheating, but where do you think the line is? Like, where is the line with not even having to be an ex, but just having male friends? Diego, my husband, says that he doesn't think women can have male friends. And of course, gay guys excluded, he thinks. And so his
También
husband
acá.
agrees. Where do you guys think it gets slippery? Like, can we have male friends? Where do we become way too close to a straight male friend that it's a little weird? Like, what's the territory? What if you become like emotionally involved with another man? You got a boyfriend and a husband because your best friend's a dude? I don't know, guys. We're not judging, by the way, just because maybe Vero has a best friend that's a dude. Vero's always been the one that says, I've always had guy friends. But now that you're married, Vero, and how do you handle it, Ceci? Like, what do you all think about that? Would you want your man to have a close girlfriend that's platonic? I don't think I would. I've never had to deal with that, but probably because I don't like it. What do y'all think?
I wouldn't go as far as calling my guy friends right now, right? Like if there's anything, I'm not close to them as of now. If the relationship would have kept on, right? But I do think men and women can be friends. And if it comes to the point where like one comes on to the other, you pretty much set the boundary. Like, hey, I only see you as a friend. I don't want to mess around. I don't want to do this. Like, I just want to be friends. You have to be very clear with that expectation of that other person, regardless. I do think you can be friends with men. I think I could think about like my old boss that rehired me. That's like a person I've had a friendship with, and when I didn't work with them anymore, it was more like, hey, how are things? Hey, let's go to dinner and let's catch up and things like that, right? Just to see where we were at. But I think there's people that just bring in a different perspective. For me, I've always liked having the male perspective on things. I'm not going to them with my problems. Like, oh, can you believe my husband? It's more of like, hey, I'm having a hard time communicating this. How would you, help me out with this? And it's not like, oh, I'm suffering. I feel that as you grow up, there's differences, right? I think when we're young and everyone's still looking for that person, and sometimes the lines can get blurry and lines can be crossed. But I think as we get older, if you need to work in your relationship. Like, focus on what you need to do, right? But I feel that there can be friends within coworkers. Obviously, there's certain things. I'm not going to go out to dinner with them every day or go for drinks, right? But it's more of like, have conversations about, hey, how's life, right? But yeah, I think I am a believer that men and women can be friends, especially very upfront about like, yo, this is a friendship, not a emotional support. I need you to help me. Oh, fuck that. That's your wife. That's your husband for shit. Don't come crossing lines.
Exacto. You better not turn the emotional corner. ¿Y tú, Ceci, qué opinas?
I mean, there's different degrees, and I feel like if you're open with your partner, with your husband, like, hey, I have, this group of friends, there's males included in it. It's okay. And you both have that mutual trust, then I think it's okay. And it's doable. I was starting to think about me and its coworkers or former coworkers that are male, and they're, I consider them friends, colleagues. And I've talked about this before, where we work together in this firm, and so every summer we do like a little get together and going out. And my husband knows all the three male attorneys in that group, and then so it's like a group of women and men that we go out for drinks because we have this thing in common. We all worked at the same law firm where we started our legal careers, and some of them are still there. One of them is actually a partner, and then some other, including myself, have ventured out. So then we still, we have that friendship, and we get together, and usually it's just us. Our spouse, actually, no, it's always been, when we get together the last 3-4 years, it's only been us. It's not our significant others. It's just us, getting together, not because, como se dice, it's just like us, our time to kind of like rekindle that friendship that we had as colleagues. And yeah, I don't think it's bad. Also, with those friends that, again, my husband knows, I don't feel uncomfortable, like texting, like, hey, are we going to do our little summer gathering or whatever, like texting or whatever. And again, because I know my husband trusts me and vice versa, I don't see that. And él también, like, he has colleagues, female colleagues that he went to grad school with, and, and si están en, no sé, en una conferencia, ya se ven, things like that. And I just feel like, I don't know, if there's that trust and you know your partner, then it's okay. It's okay to have friendships from the opposite sex.
I love that take. I think that's really great. I just happen not to. And my husband's always believed that he thinks there's always a sexual energy between people that is there when they're just connecting. And I don't know that he still thinks that, even now that I think about it. He would always say that, earlier in our marriage, early in our dating, he just didn't see it. So I think that was that a way of manipulating me not to have guy friends? But I wasn't really a guy friend kind of girl anyway. Like growing up, all my guy friends came from being like the boyfriend of a girlfriend or a group. I was never just kind of navigating towards the opposite sex, unless it was sometimes an interest and a flirting. Otherwise, it was like group hangs or people that are booed up like it is now. So I've just never had that experience. So I really can't speak on it. But would I want my partner to have a girlfriend that's platonic? No, I think it goes both ways. There'd be a double standard. I'd feel really... I frankly think insecure and likely jealous. It just makes me feel uncomfortable to think that he just, I'm going to ask Becky what she thinks. Becky with the good hair. No, it wouldn't work for me. But this conversation reminded me of a book that I read because I just fell down the Esther Perel rabbit hole. And I've mentioned her before, but I love her books. But she wrote a book called Mating in Captivity, which is about coupling. And my husband read it many, many, many years ago, which I thought was great because it then introduced us to her. And then she wrote a book called The State of Affairs, Rethinking Infidelity. And there's a longer title, but I know that actually might be it. That might be the title. But I read this book because I love Esther Perel and I love the way she communicates about relationships. I just absolutely love. She reminds me of Professor G and the way he communicates about like politics and men and growing up in education, Scott Galloway. So I love her. And I just was like, I have to listen to this book just because I love her. But then this book was like, to me, so eye-opening because I was like, wow, this is a very fascinating topic. So if anybody's interested in either book, Mating in Captivity is just relationships, period. It was her first book. This one is called, again, The State of Affairs, Rethinking Infidelity. And there's a really cool chapter in it called Even Happy People Cheat. And I thought I'm going to ask the girls about that. Do you think that's true? Do you think that a happy person would cheat?
Girl, I'm perimenopausal. I don't even want to have sex with my husband. I
was like, why?
It just sounds like so much work. I don't know. Like, I'm happy. Like, it sounds like too much work. I don't know. No, like, if that's the case, then you're not happy. I don't think so. Like, if that's the case, you're not happy.
Good.
Something's not there. Like, I mean, okay, perfect example. Yes. The other person that we wash your face and apologize, wash your face, girl or girl.
Rachel Hollis. Oh my God, yeah.
We were doing a 30-day challenge on having sex with our husbands.
Girl.
And then but the thing is that
they ended crazy.
It's insane. The thing is that it's just thinking about it, and not because I've thought about it. It's more of like, there's days where I'm like, how can I even... I don't want to be in some...
There's too many distractions.
Yeah, no, thank you. Not in the car, not in the motel, not in some... No, like, I cannot. No. For me, it's more like... Not that it's not an option, right? I'm not going to say, oh my God, I would never put myself in that position. But the thing is that I already thought about it. Oh my God, what work, how much work it takes to conceal things. There's something up with your relationship, and I don't think that you are happy.
Good opinion. ¿Y tú, Ceci, cómo la ves?
Ditto. Something's off. Something's off if you're not, definitely not happy. Yeah, como Vero, I'm like, ay no, qué hueva. Even to consider like someone else, the dating, like I always think, I'm like, qué bueno que, that I have a partner, a husband, and we have so much history already, and our just our routine and everything. I was like, I was like, it's so funny. I was like, that I'm just, no, I don't have the body that I have when we met, right? Perimenopause, menopause, like la pancita, and I'm just like, how I said, I'm like, how lucky I'm like, que, we're comfortable in our own skin, both of us, and we motivate each other. But to consider doing that with someone else, no, qué hueva, ya no. Y se me fue otra cosa que iba a decir. Oh, so la Rachel Hollis, ya está casada hasta con otro, ¿verdad?
Yeah, they got
So did that end because of
divorced.
that, or what? Or
No. They got divorced and it never came out why, but it was right after the pandemic. And she got so much hate and criticism because they were really talking about having a good marriage and trying these
Yeah.
things and had a podcast and were together. And
Right.
after a while, when you really follow them, people, of course, break them apart and say they look like they were sort of driving each other crazy and not as close and
Yeah.
breaking apart. And of course, they're going to, out of respect, not tell you the whole story, but it sounded like it was something she wanted, not something he wanted. They both dated other people. And then he died. And turns out he had like drugs in his system. And I think that's probably why she divorced the guy, because there was like lifelong addiction. A theory. I don't know, guys. Everybody has theories on
Yo
the
no sabía
internet
que
and
se
on
murió.
podcasts.
No
Yes.
sabía. Oh, wow.
And so she, eventually dated someone else and dated the man she dated or whatever, and is living her best life moving forward. Or I don't know if it's her best life, but living life. But that all brings up like a point. Like you look at these people, you think they're happy, you think they got it going on. They're giving others advice on how to do the dang thing, and then they end up divorced. So it was sort of a fall from grace, and the poor gentleman is no longer with us. And I liked his books too, and I liked his come from, and I liked the way that he had a philosophy and it came across, but he also had his demons because he's a human. So we may be happy, but we're also human, right? Humans cheat. So I don't know about the label of happy, right? And I know then how this chapter ends, so I can't really give an opinion there. But the example of a couple of different people, she talks about different actual clients of hers because she's a therapist. One of the women that sticks out to me that supposedly was quote unquote happy, she kind of married the first man that she was with, and it was always really like type A and had the kids, had the house, lived the life. She never really got to like let her hair down and be imperfect. So the cheating became like this little secret thing that she kind of liked. Like, finally, I don't have to be in control and do everything a certain way. But the husband wasn't the problem. God bless them. Like, she didn't want to break her husband's heart. And the woman, the therapist, talks about how like eventually, like, you need to end it and you should end it and it's the right thing to do. And you need to not be segmented. So like Vero alluded to, like, que hueva, like having to keep a secret, having to lie, you're clearly not happy. That's too much work. And so that's kind of where the therapist takes it. I don't want to super spoil it, but it is one person in one chapter of a book, so we ain't spoiling nothing. And
No, girl, I was gonna say
Go
like,
ahead,
no,
Belle. You had
that's what
comment.
life is for, right? Like, I feel that times have changed. Like, you think of like, compare me to like my mom, right? Like, oh my God, my mom would be like, ay, tú no vas a entrar al cielo because has vivido una vida de pecado. Like, it's just sinner, sinner, sinner. Shame, shame, shame. But I think times have changed. I mean, that's the reason. I mean, I feel that that's why you go to college. That's why you go and, do you travel and you expose yourself to these things and you experiment and you try new things. And that includes like those sexual experiences. You learn like what you do like, what you don't like, and it's like, I think I shared that story with you guys before on the podcast as well. That couple from Chicago that they were together. They were like, she was, and she was a nurse and he was had a great job. And they were like, had this ideal apartment that overlooked the, Lake Michigan. And it was just like a beautiful like relationship. And then one day he was just like, well, I want more. And she was kind of like, I'm tired and wanted, sexual activity. And so he thought it would be a good thing for both of them to go to the sex parties. Right. And then she enjoyed it. Like, figured out that she really liked being done by a group of men. And he was like, what?
He not so much. He did not figure that out.
He didn't. He was just like, I just wanted you to get turned on by me and you want to have sex with me. But she was like, you know what? This is actually a great idea. Thank you for bringing me to this thing. And their relationship ended. But I feel that how do you wait your entire life to figure out that that's what you want? And I think it's okay. Is it gonna, are you breaking someone's heart? Yes. But if it's something where you're like, I never experienced it. And now that I have, it's like, how did I just let myself down these last years, right? Like, I don't know. You can still love someone, but they not might fulfill you in a certain way. But then those are things you need to talk about. So it's just like, you need to figure it out. That's what life is for, figuring it out. Instead of doing something like that and breaking someone's heart completely. And then there goes your life.
Yeah. The next question in that book, which is going to be my next question for you all, once it was all said and done and the person had to break up with the affair partner, which really wasn't going to be a life partner because they're not. It's like you're doing this for some need. Both of you said, are you really happy? There's something really wrong there. And the core of it is there's something wrong there. So happy or not, there was an issue that led to the cheating. Once they break up, that person did not want to tell their partner and did not. And so then the author asks, like, a lot of people are like, no way, you have to confess to cheating. But do you? Do you? Like, if you, God forbid, hypothetical, you're both like such wonderful, loyal, faithful wives, but there's an oopsie and you decide to take that secret to the grave. The therapist talks about that concept, either the confessing or the not confessing. What would you do? Would you take the secret to the grave or would you confess? We're in Saint-Tropez next year, and one of you has an oopsie. We're all going to Saint-Tropez. I already revealed it. What would you do? Secret for life or immediately confess to the partner?
I would tell.
Yeah.
I mean, I would tell. Like, as hard as it was, but I would
Could you
tell.
live with the guilt, right? You couldn't.
I've been cheated on.
I couldn't.
would not. I can't. I cannot break
Yeah.
someone's heart like that. Like I've been cheated on, and it's been the way it affected me. It's beyond you. I think this, in a sense, is beyond you. If you fucked up, then you focus on not fucking up ever again, and you figure it out. Like you know, whatever it is. Like if that oopsie happens, and that person is not following you back home, and you're not interested in a relationship, and it's just like, oh, I fell on someone's dick. Like whatever it is, right? Like it happened. It was an accident. It's not like what you've been investing your time in and out. Like it's not going to be an ongoing relationship. I think there's a difference, right? There's definitely that difference of like, I want a relationship with someone else and I want to be physical with someone else and intimate with someone else. That's a whole different thing than like, oops, oh shit, let me go ruin my marriage and my family and break up my home. But for this person that was divorcing, and they have now the option of like, right. So I think if your husband or your partner is being blindsided by you wanting a divorce already, why fudge up? Why fuck up the rest of the years of the marriage you did have? It was something that you were dealing with internally, had nothing to do with your partner. I think it creates damage for that person. So it really means, she's not picking up and leaving, divorcing because she's already started a relationship and has a future with someone else. It's something that they're handling on their own, whatever skeletons or, things that they're dealing with. So no, I don't think I would, because it would just really ruin the other person. And it's not to come away looking a certain way, like perfect. It's more of like, I do love this person. It is not their fault that this happened. So I'm going to, in the sense, I do not need to give that information because the reason has nothing to do with them. It's about me. So that's more of the reason.
Vero, gold star. Did you read the book, Vero? Should I ask you first? All your answers are like if you were Esther Perel. Like I have to go back to this book now because I'm like, did you read chapter? I don't know whatever chapter 9.
I read the foreword.
You have so eloquently like cheat sheet. If you were reading chapter 9 of this book, that's exactly what she says. Like it's the type of relationship and what's happening, and you probably messed up because you're dealing with some drama. And if it's not a relationship, you're probably going to crush that person and change that relationship and ruin it, make it worse. Though she says, of course, people are like, no, of course you tell. But there are some relationships where telling is going to be even worse. And it was you that were crazy or lapse in judgment, missing something, needed something, and your partner had nothing to do with it. And now you're going to go crush them, which is such a radical way of looking at it. Because before I read this book or heard this chapter, I was like, of course, you got to tell the guilt. But then you start to think exactly how you described it, Vero. Like you made this mistake. You're dealing with you realize it's wrong. You're ending it. You do not want to further damage and crush your marriage, your children, your view. But she says very eloquently in the chapter, but keep in mind that a lot of people are not going to agree with that and think, no way, how can you take a secret to the grave? Because is it really a true relationship with that secret? So I will end with that question. Secrets. We, I think, have secrets in marriages. That's my opinion. Like, I think people have secrets, whether they're cheating or not. You have secrets from your family. You have secrets from your friends. I think they are a part of life. So this becomes chalked up to another secret that you carry. Maybe you carry secret insecurities or secret habits, right? But what do y'all think about secrets in marriages? Yay? Nay? Warm? Cold? Middle? Can they exist? Can it be okay?
I think it depends on how big of a secret. Like little, white little lies about, I don't know, getting your legs waxed, or I don't know, cosas así. I don't know. I'm just, I think that's fine and it's healthy, and something that like maybe the three of us did in college. Like they don't need to know, no tienen que saber todo, and it's just like not your, no fue tu tiempo, and it's not relevant to your partnership now and your marriage. So yeah. I think it's fine. I think it's fine as long as it's not something so big that needs to be told. Like, oh my God, I spend like my savings or the family savings.
Shit, yeah.
That can't.
Yeah, that secret is going to be revealed whether you like it or not.
Exactly.
Exactly. Vero, Dr. Vero, que sabe
muy Dr. Vero, I know. Vero, me sorprende.
Tema. Vero, secrets or no secrets,
no.
good or
no
bad?
Secrets. No secrets. I feel Otto and I have had a good fair share of sharing our past in the sense, right? And hey, this is important and that's important. And I've never told this anyone before, but like, he's it, he's my it. I told him, if you want to marry me, we're in this together forever. Like, I don't believe in divorce, and I don't care if he thinks he does, but we're not. So I feel like no secrets. I mean, there's probably embarrassing things we've done and you'd rather keep it to yourself, but it's like, that's who I am now, though. That contributed to who I am as a person. So no secrets. Unless, if it's something damaging, right? I murdered someone and I might murder you one day. I mean, hello, right? But I don't.
You're going to end up on an episode of the first 48.
Yeah, like, no.
Trying to keep them from the news.
But no, I think there's, no secrets.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. There's small secrets. There's secrets that you may just keep because it's natural. And there's some areas where it's like, we've been there, done that. No secrets. This is end game. Speaking of it being like, I am in this marriage and I'm in it for the long haul and I don't believe in divorce. It's funny because when we came into this author and reading this author, I did believe in divorce. My husband did not believe in divorce. And I just thought that's easy to say. But he came from a family that was very united and together forever, no matter what. I didn't. But then he read that first book, Mating in Captivity. He's like, I get it now. I get why people get divorced. Because, of course, she goes into really cool scenarios with different people and different circumstances. So it sort of changed his view around divorce. And then I was like, oh, shit, we can't have the same view. That was my view. I want that back. I want you to be the one that's like, no, plan B. We're plan A forever. Not that we would get divorced. We started reading this many years ago. But that's the magic of books and of other people's human experience and the magic of therapists that have heard it and seen it all. So the tip of the day is you don't have to read this book or these authors that we mentioned today with the one author, but definitely educate yourself on these examples, especially those that have been married for the long haul, which is us. Like, we're going on the long haul, 7+ years, and we change as individuals and our perspective and what we saw. Maybe it was about cheating. Maybe it was about finances. Maybe it was about child rearing. They're going to change or they're going to evolve. They're going to be informed by new experiences. And I think the best way to stay on the same page with the partner is something like this, reading together and reading these topics that maybe make you uncomfortable. Because, of course, a couple reading about infidelity, I was all for it. And I think it was really good because it opens up your eyes to other people's lived experience. So that's your tip of the day. So that is it. Unless anyone has a big, dirty secret they want to share today. No? Well, why don't you guys confess something good? Just kidding. Thank you for being here.
I'll pass.
It's Vero, text me on the side. Ceci, text me your secret. I'll tell you guys. I'll DM you guys the secrets. So to our listeners, tell us what you would do. Tell us what you think about the questions asked today. Do you think the money situation was handled appropriately by the person who recommended this topic? Or do you agree more with one of us and the way we saw the money situation with the ex? Or any of these other topics? We'd love to hear from you. Please DM us, send us an email. Our email is admin@leveluplatina.com. Our Instagram or Facebook handle is @leveluplatina, as always. And if you want to find us on the webs, it's leveluplatina.com to work with us for coaching, one-on-one coaching. It's not just career coaching. There's also a lot of stuff around relationships. You got experts here that have been there, done that, learning, clearly growing, reading, and being in marriage, practicing it every day. We also have our Guilt-Free Squad, which is our group coaching. And with our group coaching, you have so much lived experience, so many women with different walks of life, experiences with marriage, divorce, being cougars, maybe not, having kids, maybe not, going through it, finding love later in life, having kids later in life. There's so many different women, different careers, different experiences, different states represented. So the Guilt-Free Squad is a really great place to network with like-minded women that are living this dang thing. So we hope that you'll check it out on leveluplatina.com. Otherwise, thank you for being here today. Mujeres, las quiero mucho.
Besitos.
Thanks for sharing in this topic.
Thank
Thank you.
indulging
Thank you
us.
for having us.
And thank you to our listener who recommended it.
Gracias.
Besos a todos.
Sigan viniendo las recommendations.
Que sigan viniendo. Yes, DM us your recommendations, please.
For
We
sure.
love topics that you inform. We don't have to think of them. We don't have to ask Chata. So send us your topics.
Please do. Alrighty. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.